So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have pleasure watching this video, which is about the beautiful harbor of Hong Kong. And it is a great honor to have Mr. Mickey Lai, Director of Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation Department, to give us a keynote speech today. Please welcome Dr. Lai.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for Simon, of course, for inviting me to speak at this meaningful conference today. I can see a lot of audience here. Hopefully, you have a very nice lunch and stay focused on my speech. Okay? So I'm particularly pleased to see biodiversity taking center stage as a major theme in this conference, reflecting growing interest and awareness in the business community. Like climate change, I'm sure that a lot of you have heard about climate change before. Biodiversity conservation is vital for both our well-being and the economy. Can give you more example. We have more hard coral species than the Caribbean Sea, and our Reef Check program attached over 1,000 citizen scientists last year, offering excellent educational opportunities. And also we cherish our country parks for hiking and camping, especially during the cooler season. And we have seen tremendous attention to the pandas these days. These all demonstrate how biodiversity enriches our lives. Just to give you a little bit background, our global commitment to biodiversity conservation was first formalized when the United Nations Convention on Biodiversity became effective in 1993. This convention aims to conserve biodiversity, promote sustainable resources use, and ensure fair and equitable sharing of benefits from these resources. Parties to the convention are invited to carry out their national biodiversity planning while implementing the convention. And developing and implementing a national biodiversity strategy and action plans, we call it BECs, is one of the ways to translate the convention into action. In this context, parties, including China, our motherland, has developed their national BECs to contribute their part in achieving the global conservation targets set under the convention. These global targets were updated at the 15th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the Convention in 2022, during the 6-year period when China held Conference of the Parties presidency. So the conference held in 2 parts in Kunming and Montreal established the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, encompassing 23 updated global targets. This landmark framework has 2 overarching goals. The first one is to hold global biodiversity laws by 2030. And secondly, to achieve harmony between humans and nature by 2050. And the global biodiversity framework is comprehensive, covering conventional nature conservation measures, but alongside emerging priorities like green finance, biodiversity risk disclosure, nature-based solutions, urban green spaces, and sustainable consumption. So this wide scope of efforts requires regional and sectoral collaboration. Consequently, the global biodiversity framework can be seen as a multidisciplinary global advocacy effort similar to the Sustainable Development Goals, urging governments worldwide to adopt measures promoting a sustainable planet through whole-of-government and whole-of-society approaches. In response to the global biodiversity framework, parties to the convention are gradually updating their national BECs to state their contribution to achieving its 23 global targets in accordance to their capacities. China was among the first to complete this update and released the updated National BCEP in January this year. The updated National BCEP outlines 27 priority actions for contributing to the global biodiversity framework and provides guidance for subnational governments in further strengthening biodiversity conservation. And notably, it identifies the Greater Bay Area as a key strategic region for enhancing biodiversity conservation. Hong Kong has been implementing a city-level BCEP to support national implementation of the convention and step up local efforts in sustainable development and nature conservation. Since the implementation began in 2016, we have made significant progress. Beyond strengthening conservation measures, we have also focused on mainstreaming biodiversity, promoting sustainable use, sharing benefits, and building capacity. In fact, our ongoing work has been echoing some of the new global and national initiatives, which I will elaborate with some examples below. In terms of ecosystem protection, we have designated 4 new marine parks in southwestern waters, together with an expansion of the restricted area at Sum 1 in Lama for sea turtles, and also our 25th country park, just opened earlier this month, the Robin's Nest Country Park, as well as the newly opened Long Valley Nature Park this month. The government had also established the Countryside Conservation Office to coordinate countryside revitalization and conservation efforts for enhancing sustainable development of remote countryside. On the front of mainstreaming biodiversity, the government, together with stakeholders in the development and built environment sectors, has been integrating biodiversity considerations and nature-based solutions into plans, guidelines, and projects. For instance, we are seeing increased adoption of eco-friendly designs in drainage channels and native plant species in urban green spaces. We have developed a blueprint for sustainable agriculture and fisheries. And the Hong Kong Green Building Council has updated its BEAM Plus New Buildings Menu to promote biodiversity, enhancing building designs. It is also encouraging the sea companies expanding their ESG initiatives to include nature conservation, from coral protection to tree planting and creating butterfly gardens and community spaces in shopping centers to enhance urban biodiversity. Mobilization of resources from public and private sources for supporting biodiversity initiatives is a key global biodiversity framework priority. Hong Kong, as a leading international financial center, is pioneering green finance initiatives. Our sustainability and ESG standards align with the International Sustainability Standards Board. And nature conservation and biodiversity is also already one of the eligible project categories covered by the existing Green Bond Framework of the Government Sustainable Bond Program. Now we're updating our BCEP, targeting completion by 2025. And the second phase will focus on 4 strategic areas, namely conservation, capacity building, mainstreaming, and partnering. Partnering is a relatively new area where we envision more cross-boundary and interdisciplinary collaboration with neighboring cities in the Greater Bay Area to collectively leverage our strengths and contribute to achieving relevant global and national targets. The next phase will be spanning 10 years from 2025 to 2035, allowing more time for substantial initiatives to take effect. We propose short, medium, and long-term goals with a midterm review to assess progress, make necessary adaptations, and ensure effective evaluation. The first BCEP phase has succeeded through broad collaboration with academics, professionals, and NGOs who help expand knowledge enhance cross-sector cooperation, and engage youth and communities. We will continue to engage diverse stakeholders from different sectors, including those from the business sector, as we anticipate that participants from the business sector will play an even more vital role in driving green finance and ESG-related biodiversity actions. So in spring next year, we will launch stakeholder engagements. We look forward to receiving your valuable insights and views on biodiversity and BCEP this afternoon, if not during the engagement a couple of months ahead. I'm grateful for the opportunity here to share this information with you today. And before concluding, I wish to emphasize again that BCEP implementation requires collective endeavors from the society as a whole. Together, we can make Hong Kong a thriving and livable place to live in the Greater Bay Area, while supporting our country's vision of ecological civilization. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lai, for sharing the government's efforts in preserving the biodiversity in Hong Kong, and hope all of you enjoyed his speech.